Hey there, it's Danielle Burnock from danielleburnock.com, that lady on the internet who loves you. And today's a little bit different than usual. Today, I'm really sad. Last month, October 28th, I republished an episode on the Victorious Souls podcast that I had published back in season 1. And I did that very intentionally because the holidays are coming and those can be difficult for many people. Also, I have multiple friends who have suffered the loss of a loved one and even a spouse within the last year or so. And this is going to be their first Christmas season without them. That's really hard. The name of the episode that I published was called See Me Through My Tears. I shared a poem about See Me Through My Tears, encouraging people to sit with those who are grieving, to let them cry, talk about their loved one, say their name, and see your friends and your family members through their grief. What I didn't realize when I republished that last month was that I was going to need that. I was going to need that because yesterday I lost a very dear friend of mine who was my prayer partner as well. And see, I'm already tearing up. But I don't want to hide from you. Many people say, oh, you're happy all the time, and you get the idea that, my life is perfect and everything's wonderful all the time, and it's not. I suffer loss too. I'm a childhood trauma survivor. You guys know that from my books and what I share, but my life's not perfect, and yesterday I suffered a great loss, and I am grieving today. And I want to say to you who are listening that just like trauma is personal, grief is personal. My grief is not more than yours. Your grief is not more than mine. There's a quote out there, which I didn't get this one, by, I think it was Mark Twain, I'm not quite sure. He talked about it being proportional to the person, like perspective-wise or something, and he talked about the child losing a doll and a king losing a crown. And how it's the same. The loss is what's in the heart. That's what grief is about, loss. People think it's about death, but it's about loss. Death is loss in many ways. But I wanted to share with you some things today, a little bit out of the ordinary. If you are grieving, you know someone who's grieving, I went online because I needed to do what I've learned to call grief work. Grief work is exercises, rituals, practices, things that you do with intention to take the anguish from inside of your heart, inside of your soul, inside your body, and get it out. You work it out of your body. One of the weird things about grief is, I was thinking today is, you feel things in places you didn't know you had feeling there. You get nauseous just thinking about something. It's happened to me today. I went and got my hair done today. I'm sitting there. Nobody's doing anything but just the emotions rolling through me. I just got nauseous. Nobody did anything. It's just the grief. So one of the things I did when I got home was I went online and I looked up a number of grief quotes and I copied and pasted some of them. And so I want to share those with you for you to feed on, to calm and comfort your soul, or to help you comfort someone you know who is grieving. Because there's a lot of grief in the world. As I said, I have numerous friends who have lost people over this last year. Many of them lost spouses. And then we even just have grievous things happening in our world. I mean, there's the war over in Israel, and there's a war going on in the Ukraine, and there's, like Jesus said, wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes and famines in various places. It's going on, and it causes grief in people's lives. And I'm that lady on the internet who loves you, and I want to administer love. That's what I'm endeavoring to do today, is to share love with you, to encourage your heart, to validate grief, and to help us get through, because grief is like a tunnel. We need to get through it. It doesn't go away, and I'll read some of these quotes I have for you today to help us wrap our head around grief. What is it? And how do we deal with it? One of the other ones I didn't copy also was about how everyone can deal with grief except for the person having it, something like that. But I didn't copy. The two I find myself sharing with you before reading, I didn't put on my list here. But I want to share some of these with you because I want to honor your grief, and I want to honor my grief, and I want to honor my friend, Cheryl, who has been my prayer partner for years. And probably at 5:30 on Tuesdays, I'm going to randomly cry from time to time, because that's what time we would get together every week. Every week. And so the first, I'm going to read these to you, and I hope you enjoy them and they minister to your heart. Death ends a life, not a relationship. All the love you created is still there. All the memories are still there. You live on in the hearts of everyone you have touched and nurtured while you were here. Mitch Albom. I love that. You live on in the hearts of everyone you have touched. My friend Cheryl touched so many people's hearts. She's living on in people's hearts. Grief is not a disorder, a disease, or a sign of weakness. It is an emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity. The price you pay for love. The only cure for grief is to grieve. Earl Grolman. When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Author unknown. What soap is for the body, tears are for the soul. It's a Jewish proverb. I've talked about tears, and I did in that one episode on the 28th of October also about tears, I believe. There's a study, a lady did a study on tears, and they look different under the microscope for why we are crying them. They change how they look. Their chemical makeup changes why we cry, for grief or anger or frustration or whatever it is. You're cutting up an onion. They change. That's because tears are a gift that God gives us. There's a song, also an old song, called Tears Are a Language That God Understands. The next one I have here is tears have a wisdom all their own. They come when a person has relaxed enough to let go and to work through his sorrow. They are the natural bleeding of an emotional wound, carrying the poison out of the system. Here lies the road to recovery. F. Alexander Magoon. Hope I'm saying these names right. If there ever comes a day where we can't be together, keep me in your heart. I'll stay there forever. A. Milne, Winnie the Pooh. The reality is that you will grieve forever. You will not get over the loss of a loved one, and you will learn to live with it. You will heal, and you will rebuild yourself around the loss you have suffered. You will be whole again, but you will never be the same. Nor should you be the same, nor would you want to. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler. I really love that one because we change through the relationships that we have. And we want to be different from those great relationships that we suffer the loss of that time together, but we are a different person because of them. Sometimes only one person is missing, and the whole world seems depopulated. I love that. Alphonse de Lamartine. Hope I didn't mangle that one. Yeah, seems like the whole world is depopulated. One person, it's like you stare off into nothingness because you just, this fog is there. And then the next one is, and once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure, in fact, whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. And that's what the storm is all about. Haruki Murakami, from something called Kafka on the Stone. The darker the night, the brighter the stars. The deeper the grief, the closer is God. Fyodor Dostoevsky. I don't know, that's foreign of some kind, and I don't know how to pronounce it. So please forgive my mispronunciation of these names. When someone you love dies, and you're not expecting it, you don't lose her all at once. You lose her in pieces over a long time. The way the mail stops coming, and her scent fades from the pillows, and even from the clothes in her closet and drawers. Gradually, you accumulate the parts of her that are gone. Just when the day comes, when there's a particular missing part that overwhelms you with the feeling that she's gone forever, there comes another day and another specifically missing part. John Irving. And when great souls die, after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses restored, never to be the same, whisper to us. They existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. Maya Angelou. How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Winnie the Pooh. Grief is the price we pay for love. Queen Elizabeth II. This quote was in a movie we watched the night before last. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Dr. Seuss. When you're grieving, you don't want to smile because it happened. But I do smile because I had my friend Cheryl. I am so thankful that I had my friend Cheryl, that I had her for so long and we shared so much. So I will both smile and cry, sometimes at the same time. And my last one is, I am because you were unknown. So I want to share that with you today. If you want to hear the poem See Me Through My Tears, go to the October 28th episode of Victorious Souls podcast and you can hear that one. This episode today is to honor my friend Cheryl, who went home to be with Jesus November 7th, 2023. I miss her. I will see her again. I will see her again because I believe what it says in the book of Thessalonians, that we are those who grieve with hope. We don't grieve without hope because we believe that Jesus will come again. And those who have died before us, they will rise first. And those that are alive and remain, then will come up after them. And we will be with the Lord Jesus forever. That is our hope. And that brings me joy. And that helps me to have peace in my soul through this time and this loss. And I will cry a lot, but that's okay. Because tears are a language. God understands. Tears are healing. And there was another quote I read earlier. Didn't copy that one either. But it was by Viktor Frankl, I think. An abnormal response to an abnormal event or situation is normal. Something like that. We're not supposed to be happy when we lose something. Death was not intended. Death is the last enemy to be defeated. And then one more was by Maya Angelou, was part of one. She quoted that scripture that says, "Death, where is your sting?" And she said, that sting, it's in my heart. That's where it's at. That's what grief does. But I will take the grief because it is evidence of great love. And I am forever thankful for my friend Cheryl. And I am thankful for you in my life that I get to share love with you, encourage you, tell you I love you, be that lady on the internet who loves you, connect you to the love that heals so that you can love yourself from survive to thrive. But if today's a day of mourning and you need to sit and cry, and then get up again after, and we go through grief because we will rejoice again. Until next time, I love you.